Hi guys, welcome back. So the Springboks Rugby Championship training squad is scary. Now I've been wanting to make this video for a few days, and the question is a back-to-back World Cup beckoning? Because you know it's going to be good, but when you see it all down on paper or on the screen, it's really good. I think they've made some great picks. And also, is their best 23 now actually even better than the side that won the World Cup in 2019? Okay, so before we go through the squad in a bit more detail, I want to make this quite basic comparison, if you like, between the World Cup final team of 2019 and sort of the best team I think they could put out now. Now, the obvious thing to look at here is they're very similar. Obviously, this is subjective. Let me know what team you'd put out, but I think they can put out a very similar, if not slightly better team in 2023. And bear in mind, you've got Scotland and Ireland in this group. It's going to be an absolute barn burner. And really, I would be not betting against the South Africans to top that group, actually, looking at this squad. Certainly, I think they're going to get out of the group. Someone's going to miss out, Scotland or Ireland. It's a real toughie, but I just can't see South Africa not getting out of the group with these players. Now, from 2019, there's only two names that have actually retired. The Beast and Francois Lowe. Frans Steyn isn't in the squad, but I think that's more due to injury. Maybe he could come back into it, I don't know. The good news I've been hearing is that Siya Kolisi is on course to come back in time for the World Cup, which is great for them. He's a real talisman for them. Their open side, their captain, of course. Now, as players get older, obviously, naturally, they do slow down, although I haven't really noticed many of the 2019 vintage really slowing down a lot, possibly apart from Duane Vermeulen. Let me know if there's other players you think maybe have dropped off a tiny bit, but Duane Vermeulen's, 36 now, so that's fair enough. His heir apparent is in the squad, Evan Roos. I've put him at 8, although Jasper Wiese has been doing a great job at 8 as well, so there's a really good battle for that 8 shirt. I mean, they're so strong in that 8 area, and to be fair, they're really strong in every area, especially in the pack. To replace the Beast in the starting lineup, I think you go for Steven Kitshoff. It's just too good to leave on the bench, so I moved him up to start with his Stormers teammate, Frans Malherbe, and then the Ox is on the bench to cover. And as always, having Malcolm Marx on the bench always seems a little bit criminal because he's that good, but Mbonambi to start, Marx to come on is just such a great one too. That strength and depth in the front row, the second row, just so good. We'll go back over it in a minute. Now into the back line, and you could start exactly the same back line as you did in 2019, and I think this is what I would do, but let me know if you'd go differently. And then the other fly halves are absolutely key here. Willemse and Liebok are both fantastic talents, great running threats as well as kicking and passing threats, and they can play all the way across the back line, maybe apart from 9, which screams out for the 6-2 split. Now, they've got so many great forwards, and now they've got these unique players. It makes that 6-2 split almost perfect. I'd be surprised if they didn't do it most matches. Now, the name you know that's missing is Elton Jantjies. Yes, he's got off-the-field controversies, but I just think Willemse and Liebok are simply more talented than him anyway, so I think it's a good call. And like I said, that 6-2 split, and you can have Kwagga Smith off the bench, for a bit of pace in the back row or an emergency back. It just looks set up for it absolutely perfect. And if they can get into the groove in these warm-up matches in the shortened Rugby Championship and then more warm-ups afterwards, I mean, they could be absolutely gunning for this World Cup and also, knocking someone like Ireland or Scotland out at the pool stage. Now, looking back at the squad, there's a Northern Hemisphere interest there in the second row. Jean-Luc Dupree of Sale has been absolutely fantastic for a long time now, helping them get to that final, of course. And then the other guy, probably of more interest, is of Munster, that Jean Klein. Big second row, he is South African, he's born there, but he did play for Ireland back in 2019. Smith got hold of him, had a good look at him, took him to the World Cup, and he hasn't played for over 3 years, and that's what you need to trigger this Article 8, this Rule 8, if you like, to repatriotise a player back to their home nation. They've applied for that, I'm pretty sure they'll get it. And not only is he a good player on merit, but also I imagine one of the first questions the coaches will ask him is, tell me what you know about Irish systems and all the Irish players you've played against. So a really smart pick from South Africa, maybe a classic Rassie Erasmus move there. Now, whilst we're in the second row, and South Africa are so well known for great second rows, we've got the massive R.G. Snyman back. I'd have him straight on the bench. He's an absolute monster. I mean, there's so many monsters here, it's ridiculous. They put down utility forwards as well, and Jean-Luc Dupree and Franco Mostert play second row as well. So many great second rows. Looking at the props, so many great tight heads, and I was looking at those thinking any one of those tight heads, Thomas de Toy, Vincent Koch, Franz Malherbe and Trevor Unkane, they would all start for England. I think any of those guys would start for England at tight head. They're just so strong there. It is ridiculous. Other things of note, they're having a good look at scrum halves. Faf de Klerk and Hendrickse have been the main guys for a while now. Herschel Jantes has been there or thereabouts. Cobus Reinach still there, getting on a little bit, but I really do rate him from his time in England. And Grant Williams as well of the Sharks, so loads of options there. I mentioned the fly halves and how fantastic they are at covering lots of positions, and what a great running game they have. I mean, in the backs, if they want to run the ball, play it wide, they've got all the weaponry. The centres are very experienced. Am, Diolande, Creel, loads of caps. Esterhazen could have had more caps. He's fairly established as a rugby player. He's been around the block as a rugby player, so I'd class him as experienced. So those four, very big, very strong, very experienced. In the outside backs, they've got the very experienced Colby, LaRue and Mapimpi, and then the slightly less experienced Arenza and Moody. It's a good mix. We saw a lot of Arenza last year. What a great player he is. So overall, this squad is absolutely fantastic. It's really scary. Someone's going to have to go some to beat them, and they are definitely a decent bet to retain that World Cup. So let me know what you think of that squad, all the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.